The first of 5 races here in Houston, Texas, in the Clear Lake Thunderboat Regatta is about to happen. The first heat of the International Division. I'm Steve Evans with Brock Yates and Ed Bruce, who's down in Clearwater, Florida.
Well, trouble right at the beginning, Steve. U-21, the Yellow Pages boat with Mitch Evans on board, climbing out of the cockpit there. He's got engine problems. He won't make the start.
And the start is unique itself. When the 1-minute gun sounded, the clock you see in the lower right-hand corner of your screen started to move, and they have to try to time that to be right at the starting line when that time evaporates now. And Todd Yarling and Jimbo McConnell have timed it perfectly, Brock.
You're absolutely right, Steve. And 2 very interesting boats. Big contrast, the tunnel hull 4-engine outboard at Jimbo McConnell versus the old conventional of Todd Yarling, a boat that we understand was started to be constructed over 22 years ago. And it took the guy 15 years to build a boat. It's only been in competition for about 7 years.
Todd Yarling went way wide in turn 1. We're now coming out of turn 2, and you can bet that Yarling is on that nitrous oxide button. And there's no rooster tail whatsoever from the outboard-powered boat, Brock.
And very little noise, Steve. It's very quiet. All that noise you hear is that monster Allison, that supercharged engine in the Yarling boat, but the USA 1 with the 4 outboards just whispering along. Doesn't even look like it's going all that quickly. Of course, it is running probably nearly 150 miles an hour.
Hard to believe that that boat last season had 2 supercharged automotive engines amidship.
Right, Steve, and of course with the 4 outboards, the boat is very light and handles beautifully. Notice how McConnell is tucked right in against the buoys as he comes off turn 4. And look at Todd Yarling way out there in the bulrushes of that big, heavy old boat.
Todd Yarling, I think, just getting the feel for the course. That boat may be a dinosaur to some people, but it's had 3 top 3 finishes in the past year, so it is competitive.
And very reliable. It's a big, strong boat, and it's got a very reliable, supercharged Allison engine. As we see Jimbo McConnell in that 4-engine tunnel hull experimental outboard coming down into turn 1, Steve.
Well, not only is this Jimbo McConnell's first unlimited race, it's the first unlimited race for outboard-equipped boats. A special dispensation from the American Powerboat Association to try this kind of competition, and it could be the wave of the future, Brock. They're starting to realize that those old World War II vintage airplane engines cannot be around all that much longer.
Well, let's not forget, Steve, that the old Rolls-Royces and Allisons from World War II are about to celebrate their 40th birthdays, and they're getting a little bit long in the tooth.
Well, the old girl bolted in front of Todd Yarling, not showing her age too much today, but Jimbo McConnell is showing all the doubters on the beach that the outboards can indeed be maybe more than competitive. But that figures. They are V8 outboards. There's 4 of them, times 500 horsepower each. That'll match the power of the Allison any day. Tremendous talent on the team that's behind this Miss USA boat. Don Aronow, who we talked about, the famed designer of the cigarette hulls and numerous other offshore racing boats, and Gary Garbick, the master builder. Brock Yates had a chance to talk to Jimbo McConnell, the master driver of the Miss USA outboard hydroplane.
Jimbo, I know it's been a big thrash with, I guess maybe you multiplied the problems by a factor of 4, but seems like things are getting better now, huh?
Yeah, I think we've all got it dialed in. When we left Florida to come down here, we had it dialed in, and it seems like it's the old Murphy's Law. If something can go wrong, it'll happen at the race. And our first run, we dialed it in, and it was right at home, and the water was very rough, and the wind was blowing, and it averaged 102, which qualified us. So then we thought, well, we've got this now, we'll get serious, and from there on, everything went downhill. And at 10:30 last night, we finally got everything dialed in, and it qualified this morning at 1:11 on the driver's qualification, and we feel confident that hopefully we've got everything dialed in correctly.
Well, Jimbo McConnell would be pleased to know that he's already had a fast lap in this heat at over 103 miles an hour, so he has really shown him the way home right now. Even though we've said this is Jimbo McConnell's first unlimited hydroplane race, this boat is very similar to the Formula One boats and other types of boats that Jimbo has raced for almost 20 years. Todd Yarling is a 26-year-old unlimited rookie on the circuit this year, but has plenty of experience, Brock, in the 280 cubic inch hydroplanes in the Midwest. Fine young talent.
He sure is, and he's doing a fine job running this big, strong boat. But unfortunately, it's all Jimbo McConnell at this particular point, at least unfortunately from Todd Yarling's point of view, because as he comes off turn 4, you can see how beautifully that 4-engine outboard is running right now. Just smooth as glass. And of course, these boats handle pretty well in rough water. So if he gets into a real hard race, he should be able to run in the wakes of the bigger hydroplanes pretty easily, Steve.
And look at the perfect attitude of that hull, Brock. About the only thing in the water is the foot and the propellers on those 4 giant outboards.
Well, Jimbo's got it trimmed out beautifully. Of course, he's got a hydraulic trim that he can... Uh-oh.
Dead in the water is Jerry Hopp, the U-29 boat. Some very expensive smoke coming out of that engine.
Sure is, Steve. That's one of those vintage Rolls-Royce Merlins we talked about earlier, and let's hope it isn't damaged too badly because they're getting rare. It may be that Jerry Hopp's thinking about repowering to outboards because the way Jimbo's going, they are the wave of the future. Earlier, Steve Evans had a chance to look at these outboard power plants.
Here at Clear Lake, for the very first time, we're seeing some new technology. Outboard motors. In fact, a quartet of 450 horsepower outboards on the Miss USA boat, co-owned by Gary Garbrick, one of the leading boat designers in this country. Gary, what is it going to take to seriously challenge those antique World War II motors?
Well, we don't know. That's one of the reasons we're here, is to find out just where we're at as far as being competitive with these mass horsepower, traditional unlimited hydroplane boats. And we're pretty encouraged because this particular Johnson or Evinrude V8 motor has run on the European circuit for the last couple of years. And we ran them for the first time in North America this last year and had a very good series. So we thought, well, since the Unlimited Commission was good enough to let us use it as a trial method, we thought we'd stack 4 on this boat, which had inboards in it last year, and kind of see where we're at.
Well, they are truly awesome outboards. Not exactly what you'd want to take bass fishing because they are V8s and produce almost 500 horsepower apiece, as Steve Evans said earlier.
Well, Brock, I hope that Jerry Hopp has a fishing license because we get word from his pits that indeed a fish got hung up in the water inlet and cooked that motor. It overheated. Jimbo McConnell wins the first heat of the day.
And the first time out for that boat. Gary Garbrick and the whole crew have got to be delighted as Todd Yarling smokes that old boat across the finish line in second place. Good job by Todd. He really manhandled that thing around this 2-mile course here at Clear Lake, Steve. And for a rookie, looked like a real pro.
And if the crew, Brock, can make some adjustments to that boat so that Todd can run tighter on the buoys, old U-22 may be even more competitive when we next see him.
And as Jimbo McConnell heads toward the dock to celebrate his first ever unlimited victory, stay with us. We'll be back.